I'd like to welcome everyone back to my channel. I want to talk a little bit about the Sig P365. I already have one video out for this, but I thought I'd make another one. And really I want to talk about several of my new holsters. In particular, I want to end with the new 1791 Gunleather Ultra Custom Holster. I think it's a phenomenal product. I wanted to share it with you. It is the most customizable leather holster I've ever had. And so let's go ahead and get started looking again at the Sig P365 a little bit, and then more in particular some of the holsters that are available. As many of you know, I already have a video out on the Sig P365. And while I do want to talk about it, rarely do I make two videos about one firearm. But this is kind of the exception, because I got to tell you, this Sig P365 is really an amazing handgun. I will tell you that it has been safety checked. There's no rounds in the handgun, and there's no rounds in the magazine. I have a 12-round magazine. Actually, I have three 12-round magazines for this. I have the 10-round magazine, and I have two 15-round magazines. So plenty of firepower for such a very small package. Now, what's really cool about this handgun is the package is small, and if you were to take my Smith & Wesson 2.0 compact, which is the 4-inch barrel version that has a 15 and a 17-round magazine, look at the size difference between these two firearms. In fact, let me just do this. There's the size difference between those two. That's actually quite a size difference. But I got to tell you, and while I love shooting my Smith, I love shooting this Sig. And I have made a couple of changes, I think, since the first video. So let's talk about those, just so you can kind of get a feel for what I've done and where I'm heading. I did put a precision barrel on this. I don't remember whether I had that on when I did the first video or not. This is, I just thought the gold looked cool. This is a limited edition Sig, so there weren't a lot of these sold, I don't believe. It did come with regular sights, not even night sights. It didn't have the Sig night sights. It had regular steel sights on it. And I got this for about $379 on sale, which was a really great deal. So that was one of the reasons I bought it. I actually went looking for another handgun and found this one. I just could not resist. The rail is proprietary from Sig. The reason they did that is to keep the handgun as small as possible. But there are a lot of accessories out there, such as lights and so forth, for this particular gun. I also have a rail that I can mount on here that will make it a standard Picatinny rail, but I've chosen not to do that because I'm probably not going to carry a light on this handgun. If I'm going to carry a light, I'll bring out my Smith and do it with that. So I've kind of tried to keep this fairly stock, except I have changed out the barrel, and I have I also have replaced the sights with some trinium fiber optic sights from TrueGlow, and I really like this. It really works well for me. The second thing about this is what I really want to talk about is I want to talk about some of the holsters that I have and that I've found that I think you should know about. So there's a lot of holsters out there. So I tried a new company that I had not tried before. This is a holster from Toaster Holster. One of the guys I watch a lot on the channel, Headshot87, has been recommending these for years. So I thought, you know, I'm going to just try it and see what it's about. And I'll tell you, it's really got a pretty nice fit. The fit and finish is good. My belt comes about here, so you can see the gun's got a pretty good rise up off of my waist. And it's easy to grab, easy to get my purchase on the gun and bring it out of the holster. Now, as many of you know, I'm a real fan of sticky holsters. If you've watched some of my holster videos before, and I actually bought a sticky holster for the Sig, and I cut it apart and I pasted it on the back of the Toaster holster. Sorry, Toaster. Sorry, Headshot. But I did that because this just makes the holster hold to my body a little bit better, and it also makes it a little softer so the Kydex isn't so hard up against my skin. So I've done that with a lot of my holsters, and it's really worked well. It served me well. Then the next one I have is I got this from Sig Sauer. I know Sig doesn't make it, but their name's on it. And it's really a great little holster also. It's got good retention. This one rides quite a bit lower on my body, so you can see the belt would come like right there. So if I'm wearing a tighter shirt and I need to conceal and run this a little bit deeper, this is the one I choose. It does have the double clip, so it's very stable on my belt. Once I put it on, it pretty much stays there. But again, it rides a little bit deeper. Can I get my hand around it? Yes. It comes right there, though. You can see that's hitting my hand. And I realized I could adjust these a little bit, but I really want this to run low, so if I need to get concealment a little bit better, a little bit lower than the toaster, I can do that. And I also put some of the sticky material back on here, so again, it rides against my body a lot more comfortable. This Kydex can be a little bit rigid and hard. So I did the same thing, treat them all alike. It's got good retention, and it does a really good job. So I really like this holster. This honestly is probably my third best holster that I have. I like the toaster holster. It's for a long time it's been what I've carried primarily, but that's changing a little bit, and I'll talk to you guys about why. Then the next one I've actually lost about 25 pounds in the last several months, and I got this one on Amazon, and it's an appendix carry rig. And as you know, I put a video out, or you may know, called Holsters for Fluffy People, because I've really had a hard time as a more rotund individual carrying appendix carry. But this is actually starting to allow me to do that. This has got fairly good retention. It's not as tight as either one of these two holsters, but it's not bad. And it's got the claw, and that claw literally does bring the gun in a little bit. And with the 10 round, I could probably carry this appendix with no problem. Typically, I carry it with the 12 round, and so I usually have this magazine in. This still is very good, very doable, and I really like the holster. Now, I want to talk a little bit about leather, because I'm really finding that I really like some leather holsters. This is the holster I'm using for my, well, one of them that I'm using for my Smith & Wesson 2.0. This is by Bianchi. I'm not going to pick on Bianchi at all. I like their holsters. I bought this one, and honestly, I would buy another one. You can see, however, this is really form-fitted to this gun. In fact, it's hard to pull this gun out. This is really my range holster, and as you can tell, it's in there quite nicely, quite tight. I don't like the straps that come across. I want just an open holster. This really holds that gun in very nicely. I mean, it really does. So I don't have a complaint about that. But I'll tell you, I found another solution that I think is just absolutely beautiful. Been carrying this next holster for a week. Well, yeah, next holster I'll show you. I'll show you another one in between. But the new one I want to show you guys, I've been carrying for about a week, and I really like it. And so let me talk about 1791 Gunleather. So I was out looking for a leather holster. I needed something to carry outside the waistband for range. And I found this one on 1791 gun holsters, and it actually fits my Sig Sauer really nicely. Just goes in like that. It's got really good retention, not going to go anywhere. I don't like the straps to come across the top, and that doesn't have that. Nice looking holster. You can tell this is a well-made holster. I mean, it's very thick leather. This is just going to last me a lifetime. I did find out the first couple of times I wore it, I put the belt in through here and then came out here, and that's really not very much of an area for me to put my handgun. So the last time or so I did it, I came out all the way from here all the way over to here, which gives my belt a lot more surface to hold the holster, and I found this really held it a lot better. So I really like this holster for obvious reasons. I really like leather. It's soft on my skin. Of course, this is an outside the waistband. So I started looking for a leather holster that was inside the waistband. And 1791 has got a brand new holster out, and it is called their Ultra Custom. And this is kind of what that holster looks like. Now this thing is, as far as I'm concerned, a real work of art, as a matter of fact. It's not quite as thick of leather as the other one from 1791, but it's high quality. But check this out. This thing is really molded well to this firearm. Here's what they've done. In between the leather and the inside, which is kind of a high-grade suede, there is a plastic polymer that when you get this gun from them, it's really like a flat pancake. And it comes flat, and the deal is you put this in water in a bag that they'll provide, or you can use your own. It really doesn't matter. And you put this in water. You heat it up at 160 degrees for about 5 to 7 minutes. I think I went ahead and went 7 minutes. Excuse me. And it did come with an extra belt clip. So if you break the belt clip, you've got an extra one. It comes with a couple of tools. This one, for example, if you had a channel for some raised sights on your gun, when you take this out of the water, then it's soft and pliable, very malleable. You could put this in and actually mold that channel for your sights. So you could use this in conjunction with the handgun to mold it. But what this lets you do is when you get this out of the water, it's flat and very flexible. Then you take your handgun and you insert it into the holster, and then you just take your hands, and all I did is just push around the edges of the firearm. I went ahead and turned it over, and well, I guess I came up under the clip here, and I molded a section that goes right into the channel where the slide is, the rejection port. I went ahead and went into the trigger wells, and in fact I used this part of the tool, and it has one of these on both of these, the little pointy section. I actually went and kind of went into the tool, the holster like this, and kind of pressed in, kind of got it molded the way I want. And what this does is quite amazing. When you go to pull the whole gun out of the holster, when you put it back in, you actually you don't hear the loud click you do with Kydex, but you can feel it. It actually goes in, and check this out. You see that little snap in there? It's going to go right there. And it breaks in, and it's got awesome retention. In fact, if you have this on your belt with just a little bit of tension on your belt, it's staying in there. Now you can still pull it out, but it is not going to fall out. This is one of the most cool holsters I've ever seen. So now what I have from 1791 Gunleather is I have a perfectly customizable holster. And here's the cool thing. If I don't like the retention, maybe I want to give it more retention or less retention, I simply take the firearm out. I put it back in the bag. I usually weight it down with something, put it back in the water at 160 degrees, wait 7 minutes, comes out. It's perfectly lost all of its form. It's very malleable. I put the handgun back in the holster, and I remold it how I want it to fit this time. Or another cool thing I can do is, say I have a Glock 43, or I have a Glock 42, or I have a original shield maybe that I want to carry. I can take this holster and I can form fit it to one of several different firearms. It doesn't have to be a SIG. Now, it kind of needs to be the size of the SIG, and when you go online to order it, these only come in right hand. And when you go order, it's going to ask you what firearm you have, only so that it gets the right size holster. For example, you're not going to put my Smith & Wesson, which is a much bigger handgun as I just showed you, in this holster. This is designed for the micro compact guns. And so you still pick the gun you have, and there's quite a bit in there, or just pick one close to it. If you've got a full-size Glock 19, or and you chose a Smith & Wesson M.2, it would probably fit the same basic holster, and then you mold it to fit your firearm. So I'm really liking this thing, and I got to tell you, I didn't have to put any of the sticky stuff, holster stuff back here, because this is really soft, nice leather, you guys. I am absolutely amazed at how easy this thing is to carry. I am absolutely loving what they did, and it's not cheap. It was a little over $100, but I got it pretty fast. I think I ordered it on a Monday, and I think I had it by Friday or Saturday, so it got here pretty quick. The quality of the leather is incredible. You can check out that mold, the molding that I was able to put on this handgun. And again, if I don't like it, or I want to change handguns, I can do that. Just throw it back in the water, and I can remold it as many times or as often as I like. Once you put this in the water for about 7 minutes, you take it out, you put your handgun in, you remold it around your firearm, and then you basically let it set for about 7 to 10 minutes. And when it's done that, this polymer they have inside rehardens, but it hardens to the shape you wanted to have it. And you can see where I've really indented that. And so it's now if I just hold the holster right here, this thing just slides right out. There's good retention, probably the same retention, maybe not as quite as tight as the toaster, but kind of in between the toaster and the one I'm carrying appendix. But if you put just a little pressure here, just enough to hold the holster, that really, and that's about what your belt would be putting on that. That thing really holds that in there nicely. You're not going to get that holster's not coming out. It's just not. So very secure, very comfortable, and it's impressive to have a truly custom leather holster that you can customize pretty much any way you want. I just want to show that with you to you guys. I'll probably entitle the video something like 1791 Ultra Custom because this is just an amazing holster. I like all the ones I have. I use them all for different reasons, but this has kind of become my new everyday carry holster. It's summer here. It was 100 degrees today. No trouble at all carrying this. It carries nice and cool, sweats nicely. I'm in Idaho, so it's pretty dry heat most days. But I really like this holster, so I thought I'd share it with you. Again, 1791 Ultra Custom. I've got the other 1791 here that's just out of the waistband. Good quality holster. And again, I've got the EDC. Here's the toaster. Here's the EDC with the claw. I've got the one from Sig that's got the double clip. And I'm really not usually a fan of double clip holsters, but this is a nice one. I would buy that all over again. And then I've got the one from Toaster that I really like. Thank you, Toaster. I'll probably be ordering more Toaster holsters as well. The clip on this is really good, and the fit and finish is also very good. So, you guys, God bless. Be safe. Carry always, and protect your family.